All right, let's dive into something that, let's be honest, drives almost everyone nuts: health insurance claims. Today, we're going to break down how to engineer a claim that's practically built to be approved.
You know the feeling, right? You've done everything you were supposed to, you submitted all the paperwork, you crossed all the T's, and then you get that denial letter. It feels so unfair, maybe even random. But what if I told you it's not random at all? What if the whole system is actually designed to work exactly like that?
And this right here is the absolute key. This quote from our source material completely changes the game. See, we think our job is to convince an insurer to be generous, but that's not it. Our job is to build a claim that has zero weaknesses, no vulnerabilities for them to poke a hole in. They are actively looking for a reason to say no.
So, okay, if the system is hunting for these vulnerabilities, how does it do it? Well, you can think of it as the denial machine. It's a process that's really, really good at producing three specific outcomes. This is the Goliath we have to understand if we want any chance of winning.
And honestly, the tactics it uses are pretty straightforward. First, delay. They'll just ask for more information, which conveniently stalls everything. Second, deny. This is the classic, right? Not medically necessary, or it's not covered by your policy. And third, dispose. This one's my favorite. A tiny coding mistake, a missed deadline, and boom, they just auto-close the file. Game over.
I know, hearing all that, it can feel a little hopeless. It sounds like the house always wins. But what if you could completely flip the script? What if, instead of playing by their rules, you could actually make them play by yours?
And that leads us to a totally new way of thinking about this. It all starts with a huge mindset shift. We have to stop being reactive, getting angry after the denial, and start being proactive strategists who actually engineer the result we want from the very beginning.
And I mean, look at the difference here. It's night and day. The old way on the left, does that look familiar to you? You submit, you get denied, you get frustrated, you appeal, and you basically just cross your fingers. But the new way? It's all strategy. You build the claim, you intentionally test it for weak spots, you fix those vulnerabilities, and only then do you submit a claim that's already hardened and ready for a fight. And this new strategy has a name: Adversarial Claim Engineering. And the most important part is right there in the definition. You use a tool, in this case AI, to act as your opponent, your adversary, to find every single hole in your claim before the insurance company even gets a look at it.
So how does this actually work in practice? Well, you need a sparring partner, right? Something that can think just like that skeptical insurance reviewer. And that is where AI becomes your secret weapon. It's the slingshot that lets you become your own personal red team, stress testing every single part of your argument. The whole thing runs on a really simple, repeatable loop. First, you build out your documentation. Then you feed it to an AI and you tell it to attack your logic. The AI then points out all the gaps and weak spots. You go back and fix them. And you just repeat this process for every piece of your claim. Build, test, fix, over and over.
Okay, let's get really practical. Where do you actually use this loop? Well, we're going to walk through the two most important battlefields. These are the places where claims are won or lost long before you ever hit submit.
First up, and this is the big one, is medical necessity. This is the absolute heart of your claim. If your doctor's notes don't basically scream this procedure is 100% necessary, that claim is pretty much dead on arrival. So, you give the AI a prompt just like this one. You're telling it, listen, don't be my friend. I want you to be the toughest, most skeptical reviewer you can be. Tear these notes to shreds. And by asking it to specifically look for things like a lack of severity language, you're training it to spot the exact kind of phrasing gaps that real-life reviewers absolutely love to exploit. All right, the next battlefield isn't really about the medical side of things. It's all about the technicalities. This is where that dispose tactic we talked about comes into play. A simple mismatch in the billing codes is the easiest excuse in the book for an insurer to just close your file, no questions asked.
So look at this prompt. The genius here is that you're not just asking, hey, is this code correct? You're asking, how could you use the codes to break this? By asking the AI how it would delay the claim, you're getting it to flag those subtle little mismatches that their automated systems are built to catch. Then you can fix them before they're ever a problem.
Okay, so you've hardened all the individual parts of your claim. Now it's time for the final exam. You've built the car, now you have to crash test it. This is the ultimate stress test for your entire fully assembled submission packet.
You've done all the work. You've plugged the holes. You've fixed the vulnerabilities. But is it really, truly denial-proof? There's one last test to find out.
And this is the masterstroke. You actually ask the AI to write the denial letter. Not just to find weaknesses, but to put it on paper, to formalize the rejection just like a real insurer would. You're telling it to be cold, technical, and to cite specific, made-up policy exclusions. You make the threat real.
And here is where it all pays off. You take that fake, simulated denial letter and you treat it like a checklist. You go back into your claim one last time and add the exact piece of evidence or the clarification or the bit of policy language that makes every single point in that fake denial totally invalid. If you can defeat the simulated denial, your claim is more than just strong, it's ready.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's really about a complete shift in how you approach this. Stop just reacting to bad news. Start engineering your claims from day one. Use AI as your personal red team to find every single weak spot. Your entire goal is to eliminate all those easy pathways to a no, which forces them into a much deeper review, where your logic and your documentation can actually win the day. Now, a really important guardrail from the source material. This whole process is incredibly powerful for finding logical gaps and predicting an insurer's tactics. But, and this is a big but, it does not replace professional legal or clinical advice. For any claim that's high stakes, you should always run your final strategy by a professional advocate. And in the end, that's really what this all comes down to. The system is what it is. It's a machine built to find weakness. So the only question that really matters is, what are you building? Are you just submitting a claim and hoping for the best? Or are you engineering a case so full of strength that approval becomes the only logical outcome? That choice is yours.